Guys, John the firearms instructor, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is John Johnson. I'm the owner and operator of a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. If you're one of our loyal subscribers, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, helping a family-owned business through the YouTube journey. We truly do appreciate it. Guys, we are so close to that 4,000 hours. You have an opportunity, once you watch this video, watch a couple more. It'll help us tremendously. All right, so we appreciate you being here today. Today we're going to be talking about when can I use my weapon in a self-defense situation. Now obviously this is open to interpretation, but Florida has helped us out tremendously by giving us a list of forcible felonies. And this forcible felonies are ideas that Florida says this is when you can use your weapon to defend yourself or someone you don't know. Now, in my opinion, you got no business defending anybody you don't know, due to the fact that it's going to put you in a different legality situation that you don't want to be in, right? Walmart parking lot, some woman's being beat by a man, and you get involved in that situation. That man turns all that rage and anger onto you, and the only way to live through the situation is to have to engage him, and the only witness you have is that woman. Well, you just killed her love-hate. At that point in time, she's going to want to sue you, and she just used the K word, which is kill, because she didn't ask you to get involved. So it's not your job to save the world. It's your job to save your wife and your loved ones, your family members. It's not really, we're not carrying this weapon on our side to defend the world. I carry a weapon on my side to defend 3 people: Heidi, Jacob, and Johnny, and myself. That's 4. I understand that, but that's it. I'm not carrying it to defend the world. I seem callous. I understand that, but at the end of it, I need to live through this situation. You shoot a bad guy, you get involved in a situation, you're not going to be given a hero's welcome. You're going to be put under the microscope to make sure that you did everything right. So really, it's not your responsibility. This concealed carry permit doesn't give you permission to save the world. It just gives you permission to protect yourself. Remember, the cop's job is to write the report and draw the chalk line. Make sure that chalk line isn't yours. That's why you carry a firearm. It's not for to shoot the bad guys. It's for just in case, like the first aid kit, like the flashlight, those things like that. You must have those with you to save your life. All right, so let me give you Florida's definition of a forcible felony. This is what Florida uses as the terminology of when and when you can't shoot a bad guy. And I wrote it down because I wanted to have the Florida statute, because the Florida statute basically is the laws that Florida written. Okay, so in chapter 776 of justifiable use of force, there's a terminology called 776-.8 is forcible felony. Forcible felonies are means of treason, murder, manslaughter, sexual battery, carjacking, home invasion, robbery, burglary, arson, kidnapping, aggravated stalking, aggravated battery, aircraft piracy, unlawful throwing or placing or discharging a destructive device or bomb, or any other felony which uses of physical force or violence against any individual. And obviously it talks about all the history and all the chapters you can look at and everything else like that. That is in the Florida statutes. I'd recommend you pick this up. Let's talk about that real quick. You got your weapon for protection. You got your training you've done for protection. You need to make sure you understand all the laws and regulations for your protection as well. Remember, you're going to be held to a higher standard than the average person doesn't have their concealed carry, because you've taken classes and you're supposed to know laws and regulations. Don't forget, we live in a transient state, so that cop, LEO, sheriff, or high patrolman that's stopping you today, 2 weeks to a month ago, could have been living in New Jersey. How many laws does he know in 2 weeks? Remember, New Jersey's handgun laws are a lot different than Florida's laws. So as I said before, when can I use my weapon? When you feel there's an imminent threat or death or bodily harm. Death or bodily harm is important to understand, because each individual is going to have their own situation. Let's take, for instance, a 65 to 85-year-old man. Dexterity's down, movability's down. and he's going to get into some kind of fist fight with a guy, he's not going to win that. That could be his justified ability to use a firearm in that situation. It's his equalizer, if that makes sense. Take a woman who's 105 pounds against a 280-pound man. That man himself, without even having a weapon, would be a deadly weapon to this woman, right? So it's open up to interpretation. But really, who makes the decision, guys, is the prosecutor. That's right, the prosecutor makes the decision, because he's going to ask those 12 jurors, what would they have done in this situation? Now here's the beauty, guys. In a real situation, if all 12 of those jurors would have done exactly the same thing you did, you're going to be okay. But if 6 don't, or 6 wouldn't, you got a real problem on your hands. I want to remind you, never pick a gun up in rage. You never pick a gun up in anger, only in fear. And fear of what? Death or bodily harm. 2 laws in Florida that helps us tremendously is our castle doctrine law, which allows to protect us in our car, our boat, our RV, our wigwam, our teepee, anything we lay our head down, anything we docile in, says you can have a loaded gun in it without a permit, without a license. Just can't get out of the car without having your concealed. And then we have stand your ground. And stand your ground says that's all the exterior spaces of Florida, basically. Your outside patio, your front porch, your garage, your backyard, and all of Florida says if you're in a situation where you need to defend yourself, you can and you should. So we started this all out with how can I or when can I pull my weapon and defend myself? When you are in a situation where you can't get out of it and you know it's going to cause you death or bodily harm, that's when you can. Let's talk about the guy with the machete, right? 12 feet from you to him with a machete, that's a deadly weapon right off the bat. Now, put a barrier between you and him. He's 20 feet away with a machete. He's telling you, I'm going to kill you. But there's a 6-foot privacy fence or a 3-foot chain link fence between you and him. And you shoot him 25 feet away because he had a machete in his hand. I'm not sure if that's going to be intimate at that point in time, right? He's got to get to you. He's got to get within arm's length with that machete. At that point, could you evade, escape, or engage? Those are the 3 E's you always got to remember. We're carrying a weapon for 3 reasons: evade, escape, or engage. Engage is always last, not first, right? Because don't ever forget, you go to the court system, you're found criminally not guilty, you can still be sued civilly for wrongful death as well. This happens all the time in Florida. The lawyers get involved and they sue this guy, and lawsuits cost a lot of money. That's why you need to be a member of the United States Concealed Carry Association. It's an insurance policy that you have that you're able to protect yourself. It gives you bond, it gives you expert witness, it gives you private investigators. There's going to be a link below in our description that you can get signed up for. You need to protect yourself. This is like $35 a month, and it gives you so much training information and everything else like that. But if you're carrying a weapon and you aren't 100% sure, should you shoot? You shouldn't shoot. That's the key thing, right? It's got to be on the second spot, just like that. And you need to think about it. We train, we work at it, we shoot. We need to know the laws and regulations to the best of our ability, especially if you're using your firearm in a reciprocity state. You got to know those laws as well. You just can't understand the law from where you're living. You need to understand the laws where you're traveling as well. That's why the United States Concealed Carry Association is so important too, because you have the reciprocity app. And the reciprocity app gives you every law, every regulation in every state you're traveling. And that's updated on a daily basis. There's a group of people up there that are updating the laws as they change. And they do change, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget, the prosecutor makes the final decision. Are they going to press charges? And if they don't press charges, that means you're not out of the woodwork, because you could be civilly sued. And that costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It could be. Guess what? United States Concealed Carry Association, their Delta Defense product, they do offer that insurance, which includes civil. So take a look at it. I think it's going to be important. It's going to be in the link below, but you need to make sure you understand imminent threat of death or bodily harm is the only time you use a firearm, and you really should only be protecting you and your loved ones only. Don't go out and try to save the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's not your responsibility. Remember, you're responsible for your bullet until it hits the ground. What it hits, maims, hurts, paralyzes, or kills, you can be criminally, civilly, and morally responsible for it. I hope I answered this question for you. Anytime once someone asks a question on our YouTube channel, we're always trying to put a video together that will help you understand the rules and regulations a little bit better, maybe help you shoot a little bit better, and everything else like that. If you hadn't had an opportunity to look at our store down below or join one of our membership programs we have for $2.99 a month, we're going to give you some special stuff that the average person doesn't get. Click up one of our memberships. We would appreciate it. If not, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line defense. Don't forget about our Tuesday Night Live, guys. Good night. Love you.